Have you ever looked back on your past relationships and wondered why you kept choosing the same kind of person, even when you knew they weren't right for you? This video explores the quiet, powerful influence of your shadow self, the hidden part of your psyche that Carl Jung described as the unconscious, dark side of the personality. But shadow doesn't mean bad. It means unseen, unfelt, unacknowledged, and yet it chooses. It reaches out in silence and attracts exactly what you most need to heal, even when it hurts. This video is a gentle unraveling of how your unhealed wounds, your unconscious fears, and the forgotten pieces of yourself may be shaping your love life, not to shame or blame, but to empower you. We'll explore how your patterns are invitations to return to yourself, to reclaim your worth, and to meet love from a place of wholeness instead of hunger. Softly narrated like a love letter to your inner child and your adult self. This is for the woman who is emotionally intelligent and ready to evolve. You'll walk away with new insights into how the psyche works, how to meet your shadow with compassion, and how to begin choosing love that reflects your healed self, not your hidden pain. 1. The mirror you didn't see. You didn't fall in love with them by accident. It wasn't random. It wasn't fate in the way you thought. It was something older, deeper, something ancient inside you. Recognize something ancient inside them. Not always a soulmate, but often a shadow mate. Because the parts of yourself that you bury, the shame, the insecurity, the rage, the need, they don't disappear. They go underground, and from there they do something strange. They start to choose. Not with words, with pull, with ache, with chemistry. You feel it. The magnetic draw to someone who stirs your longing, or your pain. Who activates not only your heart, but your wounds. This is the shadow self at work. And until you see her clearly, she'll keep choosing for you. 2. What is the shadow and why does it matter in love? Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. The shadow is everything you've pushed out of sight. It's the part of you that didn't feel acceptable, too needy, too angry, too sensitive, too wild, so you hid it. But the psyche is whole. And anything we exile doesn't die. It just finds another way to express itself. And in relationships, it shows up in your choices, in your triggers, in the patterns you can't seem to break. The shadow is the silent author of the script. You keep reenacting because here's the truth. Your love life is often a reenactment of your unloved self. And the partners you're drawn to or repelled by are often mirrors of the parts of you you haven't yet loved. 3. How the shadow chooses. Patterns born in childhood. If your love felt conditional as a child, you may feel addicted to proving your worth in relationships. If your needs were too big for the people around you, you may learn to shrink, and then crave partners who ignore your needs, because it feels familiar. Familiar isn't always healthy. But to the nervous system, familiarity often feels like home. So the shadow doesn't choose what's best for you. It chooses what you know, what your body remembers, what your wounds still need to replay, hoping for a different ending. Often, that ending never comes. Not until you interrupt the cycle. Not until you say, I will no longer abandon myself to be loved. I will no longer choose pain that looks like love. I will no longer let my shadow run the show. 4. The archetype of the wounded healer and the empath trap. Many emotionally intelligent women fall into a shadow pattern Jung might call the wounded healer. You attract partners who are broken, emotionally unavailable, or chaotic, and then you stay, hoping love will be the medicine. It's noble, but it's also exhausting, because secretly, you're trying to heal the wounded part of you. By loving them, by fixing them, by doing what no one did for you. But healing doesn't happen through self-abandonment. And your worth doesn't increase by suffering. When you are unconscious of your shadow, you mistake intensity for intimacy, and you stay where your heart keeps breaking, hoping it means something deeper. but it only means you haven't met yourself fully yet. 5. The shadows, language, projection, repetition, and chemistry. The shadow doesn't speak with words. It speaks through projection. You project your hidden pain onto others, or you project your missing parts onto someone, and fall in love with what they carry for you. Your need for validation, your forgotten voice, your longing to be seen. You don't love them, not really. You love what they represent. Your unlived life, and the pattern repeats, until you turn inward, until you say, I see you, old wound. I see you choosing again, and then, gently, you choose differently. 6. Integration. How to meet the shadow with compassion. You cannot heal what you shame. The shadow isn't your enemy, she's the little girl in you, who learned to survive. She chose people who felt familiar, because safety once meant self-abandonment, but now, you're awake. Now you can pause and say, I don't need to be chosen by pain anymore. I choose me. To integrate the shadow is to hold space for her. To say, you're allowed to need. You're allowed to feel. You're allowed to take up space. From that place, you'll start attracting love that doesn't require you to disappear. Love that sees you, holds you, nourishes you. But only once you see, hold, and nourish yourself. 7. Healing begins with awareness and reparenting every time you choose differently. You rewire your nervous system. Every time you stay with yourself instead of chasing them, you reclaim your power. You begin to reparent the parts of you that never felt held. That's the work. Not fixing others, not rescuing, but rescuing yourself from the belief that love has to hurt to be real. You are allowed to have peace. You are allowed to be met, not managed. You are allowed to stop performing for affection. Let that become your new mirror. Let that become your new pattern. Because when the shadow is loved, it stops choosing chaos. It starts choosing truth. 8. The sacred pause before the new choice. You don't have to rush into healing. You don't have to figure it all out tonight. Just pause. Place a hand on your heart and whisper, show me where I left myself behind. Show me what I'm still searching for in someone else. Show me how to return home to me. Because when you meet your shadow with grace, she stops sabotaging you, and she begins to guide you toward love that feels like freedom. Toward partners who don't complete you because you are already whole. This is your new beginning. Not because love will be perfect, but because you will be conscious, and that changes everything.